For maximum picture quality, it may be necessary to adjust the tracking control on your VCR.
I'm Joanne Liebeler. Today we're going to give some tender, loving care to one of the most neglected parts of your home. It's that dark, dusty place that's swept out maybe once a year. It is the domain of the lawnmower, beat-up bicycles, garbage cans, and the car. I'm talking about the garage. You could probably spend days cleaning out the inside of your garage, but today we're going to improve the outside of our garage with new doors and openers. Now, not only will this improve the aesthetic appearance and value of the home, you may actually need a new garage door. After all, it's exposed to the elements. It gets pretty beat up over time. So how do you tell if you need a new garage door? Here's some things to look for. If the wood on your garage door has begun to rot, looking as though a band of insects is using it as snack time party mix, you just might need a new garage door. If your garage door is dented, leading your neighbors to the dubious conclusion that you are a bad driving Mr. Magoosie and door crashing doof, you just might need a new garage door. If your garage door sags worse than the skin on an aging bulldog, you just might need a new garage door. And while you're surveying the damage, how well does the door open? If your automatic opener has all the pulling power of a Volkswagen Bug going uphill in a windstorm, you just might need a new garage door opener. That's what we're going to do today. Replace these old doors and openers. But first things first, you need to get the exact dimensions of your door opening so you can buy a door that fits properly. You know what they say, measure twice, pay once. Measure the door at its widest point, its highest point, and on each side of the jambs. The most important measurement is the one between the top of the door opening and the ceiling, something called the headroom. And this area needs to be free and clear of obstructions so that the door can lift up and through it. Well, now I have my dimensions in hand, so I'm ready to go shopping. The best place to find a garage door display is at your local home center. But before you lay down any money, you need to keep these considerations in mind. Your budget, your climate, and aesthetics. Now, some people are pretty picky about looks. They'll insist on a solid oak garage door with beveled glass windows. But that kind of door is not a do-it-yourself proposition. This kind of door is. These metal doors are made of aluminum or steel, and they come pre-finished in a variety of colors or faux wood grains. They also come with a variety of window styles. Now, your basic model will have metal on the exterior with structural reinforcement on the interior. And if you live in a climate that has harsh winters, you'd probably want insulation. The insulation can be up to 2 inches thick. And the highest end doors have metal on the outside and also on the inside with the insulation in between. Wood doors are also available for the do-it-yourselfer. They're made of hardboard panels with wood stiles and rails. And they come with a pre-primed painted finish. Unless you like the upper body workout of lifting your garage door every time you pull up, you'll want to get an automatic garage door opener. And the garage door manufacturer will recommend what type you need, but as a rule, a half horsepower will do the trick. Now, if you're just adding or replacing an opener, remember these newer models have better safety and security features, so keep that in mind. Now, the method by which a door is automatically raised and lowered is called the drive mechanism. Chain drives are the most common. They're easily adjusted and are durable. Worm or screw drives are quieter than the chain drives, but the performance can be affected by severe cold. Belt drives are the highest quality and also the quietest, and that's what we're going to install later on. Now, security is another factor in choosing a garage door opener. Higher-end models have transmitters that constantly change the access code, which minimizes the chance of someone hitting your frequency. And of course, safety is always a consideration. The newer models have a lot of safeguards that have been developed and built into them. Well, once you've made your selection, you're ready to get to work. So, change out of the nice clothes and get busy. Time time to get down and dirty. And because this is a northern climate, the door that I selected is a higher quality insulated steel door. And it also has leaded look windows in it too, just for appearance. Now, removing your old garage door and installing a new one is not exactly a one-man job. It's a two-woman job, and that's why Sandy Stewart's here. Hi, Sandy.
Hi.
She's a garage door expert, and she's going to give me a hand, and looks like you're doing inventory or something here.
Yep, sure am. It's important to check all the parts and make sure they're here so that in the middle of the job you're not missing a roller or something and have to go out to the store.
Yeah, that'd be a drag. Okay, I'll let you do that then. Virtually all garage doors have a spring mechanism that balances the door's weight, and that's what makes it easier to open and close the door. Now, on sectional doors like we have here, you'll find two types of springs: extension springs and torsion springs. Now, you'll notice that a torsion spring is mounted directly above a garage door. Installing or removing a torsion spring is not a do-it-yourself proposition. In fact, if you mess around with those, you could get hurt. That's why any work done on a torsion spring should be done by a professional. We had one come in earlier to release the tension on our torsion spring, and that'll make our job of removing the door safer. Extension springs are hung along horizontal tracks and are attached to the bottom of the door with a cable. When the door goes down, the spring expands, and when the door goes up, the spring contracts, pulling up the door. Extension springs you can remove yourself, and you remove them while the door is lifted up. Just to make sure the door doesn't go anywhere, put these vice grips in place. Yep, that ought to do it. First, we remove this 3-hole adjusting clip which holds the lift cable. We disconnect the safety cable. Then Sandy can remove the spring. This door is disassembled section by section, so we'll need to lower it to do that. And because there are no more springs to counterbalance the weight, it's going to be very heavy. Sandy's put down some wood blocks so our fingers don't get crushed. And are you ready? I'm going to take the grips down, and then there's no turning back. All right, let's go under it. Like Arnold. Well, we're ready to take down the old door. And as a safety measure, we're securing vice grips on the door tracks. And that way, once the sections are loose, they won't fall on us. The opener arm is detached and slid out of the way. Then we loosen the hinges. Sandy's using a ratchet, and I'm using an electric impact wrench. You can rent one of these if you don't own one. The rollers are removed. Then each door section is lifted up and taken down. That's the last one. Well, now that the old door is gone, we're going to get rid of the old opener and all of its hardware, too. Yeah. Right. The track is attached to this rear track hanger, and if it's in good enough shape, you can reuse it with your new track. And this one is solidly attached to the joist, so we'll be able to reuse it. But the track is history, because it won't work with the new door. Next, you want to check the door jambs and make sure that they're in good solid shape. And these are looking pretty good, but if they weren't, now would be the time to replace them. These door stops, however, do not work with the new door, so they've got to go. Well, that's it. When we come back, we're going to fill up this great big space with a brand new door.
This TLC program is sponsored in part by Lincoln Financial Group. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
I have 48 employees. I have an 8-member management committee. I also have 3 5-year-old sons. I don't need someone else raising questions. I need someone who can give me answers.
At Lincoln Financial Group, you tell us your goals, your situation, and your concerns. We'll provide clear, understandable solutions to help you manage your finances. Lincoln Financial Group, clear solutions in a complex world.
Can't wait until the furniture comes.
Me too. Can I have the remote?
I am so glad the furniture came.
Me too. Can I have the remote?
It's soft, it's warm, it's the best seat in the house. New carpet, it just feels better. It's soft, it's warm, And it's really comfortable. New carpet. It just feels better.
I think we both know why we're here. There comes a time in every career when you just gotta hang 'em up. You're not pulling your weight anymore. Look at you. I mean, look at you. I gotta cut you.
Expect more from your credit card. Introducing Discover Platinum. With a new low rate and a cashback bonus award, it pays to discover. Platinum. Call 1-800-DISCOVER.
Get out of here.
You're watching TLC. Adventures for your mind.
There's nothing to hide at all. Who do you trust? That guy or people who see things that can't be explained?
What was it? I don't know.
I'm French Stewart on Alien Invasion Week.
Beginning next Sunday at 8 on TLC.
My garage helping buddy Sandy Stewart and I have been hard at work. We're putting in a new garage door in this opening, and to prepare for it, we muscled away the old door and stripped everything down to this rough opening. Now, if you have a rough opening that's larger than the new door, you'll need to temporarily attach some stop molding, and this will help hold the new door in place while we're assembling it. And we're using this weather seal for this purpose, and we'll permanently attach it later on. We're going to work from the bottom up, and you can tell that this is the bottom section because of the weather seal along the edge here. You'll also notice that we have carpeted sawhorses, and the reason for that is so we don't scratch the finish while we're working. And here's a little time and hassle-saving tip. Put two door sections together, and that'll help you line up your hinges and keeps them from falling off the edge. We attach the hinges to the bottom section with an electric impact wrench. These are galvanized sheet metal screws, so they'll resist rust. Next, we're moving on to the bottom brackets. And this one is a low headroom bottom bracket, and the lift cable will attach to this bracket button. All the hardware is in place, so now we are starting to position the door. And our first step is to center it in the opening. How are you lined up on that door stop?
I'm about at the edge of the stop. How about you?
Oh, actually, I could use about 1/8 of an inch, if that.
Okay.
Perfect. And the next step is to level it. Then we'll temporarily nail it in place. The second section's hardware goes on just like the first, and the manufacturer even numbers the hinges so we know where they go. The lock assembly goes here on door section number 2. Now, if you're not installing an automatic opener, this is what would secure the door.
But if you are installing an automatic opener, you want to remember to keep the lock in the open position so that you don't cause damage to the door.
Okay, well, let's get this section in place.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. The door sections fit together with tongue and groove construction. The section's held temporarily in place with nails, and then they're joined together with the hinges. If you're installing an automatic opener, you may need to reinforce your top door section with angle iron or a bracket like this. Just check your manufacturer's directions. As for us, we're going to install this operator bracket, which will hook up with the opener's arm. You want to hold on to that for me?
Sure.
Okay. Once the reinforcement bracket is attached, we slide the rollers into the brackets and hinges at the ends of each section. There, now that the door's assembled, we're ready to make some tracks. And this is a section of vertical track. It gets attached to the door jamb like so, using these track brackets and this flag bracket at the top. And a quick note about the flag bracket, you'll see these 3 holes, but you're only going to use 2 of them, either the inner 2 or the outer 2, depending on the thickness of the door. Check your manufacturer's directions on that one. How you doing on your section of track?
Pretty good. We just need to get this track bracket hand tightened on here, and then we can make the proper adjustments once we get it installed up on the jamb here.
All right. Now we can get the tracks up. We start by pivoting the tracks onto the rollers. We pre-drill holes to accommodate the lag screws.
and then lag screw the brackets to the door jamb. Once both tracks are up, we tighten those bracket bolts once and for all with this box end ratchet wrench. Next up is the horizontal track. And a horizontal track is differentiated from the vertical track by the curve. And don't be confused because you're seeing double tracks here. It's because we have a low headroom situation that we have this. This track is attached to the vertical track and also to the track hanger over on Sandy's end. You want to make sure that the horizontal track is level and then bolt it to the vertical track and the track hanger. And we use at least 1-inch long bolts here because it also serves as a door stop. With the tracks up, we can now adjust the top roller bracket and finish installing the rest of the lock assembly. Finally, we remove the toenails from around the door. We got a door, we got tracks, but unless you're the Incredible Hulk, you're going to need springs to help you lift that door. And as we mentioned earlier, garages will have two types of springs, extension springs and torsion springs. However, we're installing a new type of spring system that's actually easier to install and adjust.
And again, Joanne, because of the low headroom situation, we're going to have the spring housing already pre-attached to the housing bracket.
Ah, that's great. It saves us a step, doesn't it? All right. So we can put together the spring assembly. We attach pulleys, which are also called sheaves, to each end of the springs. Then we run a safety containment cable through the springs and use eye bolts to suspend both of them from the track hangers. Now, believe it or not, some people don't even like to bother installing these safety cables.
But if you don't install the cables and the spring were to break, then it could fly through the garage and cause damage to either your car or injure someone if they're in the garage.
Yeah, it's like a projectile missile.
You got it.
Yeah. Well, let's get the lift cable in, huh?
All right.
The lift cable goes through the spring sheave, around the stationary sheave, and is attached to the bottom of the door. Then we make sure that the door is locked so it can't move. And we tighten the spring using a drill and this hex driver that's included with this spring system. And on this system, we know when we've gotten to the right tension when this red mark on the safety cable lines up with the black bushing. Time to put our work to the test and see how well this door opens. Oh, that is smooth.
Right.
Excellent. Good job. All right, now that the door's in, we'll secure this stop molding to get a weather-tight seal. How about that? This looks great, Sandy.
Beautiful.
Couldn't have done it without you. Thanks so much.
Sure, thank you. It's been fun.
Appreciate it. Of course, now that I have a new garage door, I'm looking at all the other flaws around it, such as the scrappy, scrubby-looking paint on the jambs, but that's another show. In the meanwhile, I want you to stay tuned because when we come back, I'm going to be opening this door with just one finger.
Once there was an adorable prince who loved to frolic and play. But one day he fell under a strange spell. Frolicking was suddenly uncool. To reverse the spell, his parents took him to a most magical place. And it worked. The boy forgot to act cool and had the time of his life with his happy family. Of course, he later broke their hearts by going to college out of state, but that's another tale. Call 1-407-WDisney and make your dream come true.
There's only one true craftsman. Craftsman makes anything possible.
Oh, yeah.
Tonight on TLC, has life in a modern world made the human race a bigger target for disaster? Coming disasters, tonight beginning at 8, only on TLC.
Sprint is creating a world of unlimited possibilities. A world where time and distance don't matter anymore. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP now and switch to Sprint Unlimited. Introducing Sprint Unlimited, the only way to get unlimited calling every Saturday, every Sunday, all weekend long for just $25 a month. And your weekday calls are just $0.10 a minute. anytime, anywhere. Come live in a world created around you. A world where weekends never end. Because only Sprint Unlimited gives you unlimited calling every weekend. And every weekday call is just $0.10 a minute. If you make over an hour of calls each weekend, you could save by switching to Sprint Unlimited. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP now for unlimited ways to save on long distance and leave the past behind. Sprint. Ahead.
If you're going to install new garage doors, you might as well go whole hog and install automatic openers too. I'm putting in a high-tech door opener that uses a belt drive to raise and lower the door. The installation steps are similar as they would be if it was a cable or chain-driven system. And step one is making sure that everything's here. It helps to lay out all the parts for your inventory, and it also gives you a sense of how the thing goes together. To start, I'll bolt the 4 sections of T-rail together. You want to assemble them on something flat because improper assembly can cause jerky door operation or even door reversals. This device is called a trolley, and it travels along the rail here. So that's what you want to check for next. Make sure that it will travel along the rail and doesn't get hung up on anything. If it does get hung up on a bolt, you'd want to reposition it, and you do that at this time. Now we attach the T-rail and trolley to the opener. Install the belt on the unit and adjust it until you've got the proper tension on it. Time to get this opener up in the air. Now I've already installed this header bracket and 2x6 backing per the manufacturer's directions. So it's just a matter of taking the T-rail and attaching it to the bracket. And to do it, I use this clevis pin. You'll notice that the door is open and I've got a 2x4 support in there too. And that gives me the proper clearance between the opener and the door. Now it's just a matter of finishing off bolting the opener to the opener brackets. And then I can move on to the controls. The first control to go in is this infrared beam sensor, and this is basically a safety feature. If the door's on its way down and somebody crosses the beam, the door goes up again. The door's control panel goes up next, with the keyless entry right after that. The door's control panel and beam sensor are wired to the opener. Finally, the door arm is joined to the trolley and to the door. All of the components are in, but we're still not done. We need to set up and test the system. We're going to start by programming our transmitters. To do this, you press and hold the button on the transmitter and simultaneously press the button on the opener. And after a few seconds, the opener will automatically send a code to the transmitter. Let's put it to the test. Ah, no hands. Our first adjustment is to set the door's open limit. You want to adjust this until the door opens as high as the header for maximum clearance. This is done by turning these adjustment screws that are on the opener. Next, the door's close limit. You want to adjust this until the door touches the floor with a little downward pressure. A good way to test the door's pressure is by closing it on a roll of paper towels. If it compresses the roll a little bit before it reverses, that's okay. But if it crushes the roll, the pressure's too high. Now we'll adjust and test the infrared sensors. This unit sends out an infrared beam that's aimed at the unit across from it. If they're aligned properly, the green light is on. It's important to have the sensors and your door reverse features set up correctly. That way kids or pets won't get caught underneath a closing door. The keyless entry gives you access to the garage through a numerical code, and you're the one who decides what the code is. So for security purposes, don't make it something obvious like your phone number or your address. And the nice thing about this system is that you can temporarily change the code. That way, if the plumber, let's say, is coming over to do some work at a specific time, he can get in. But after that, the code is no longer valid. There also transmitters that can constantly change your access code. And again, this is a great security feature. Intruders can actually scan and decode some of the simpler transmitters. And that gives them access to your garage, and you don't want that. The best defense against this is a system that locks. The lock turns off the system's response to any remotes or the keyless entry. All right, everything's up, installed, and operating at peak efficiency. So how do you keep it that way? Stick around to find out.
Sounds like a hot idea is going public.
Gotta get in on it.
Something new.
Applebee's new.
100% ground chuck.
Grill. Older. Beef beer.
Beef beer. Give me beef beer.
Cheese. Your slices.
Fresh.
Onions. Red onions.
Give me pickles.
Big one. Toast the bun. Toast the bun. I want fries. You got it. Wanna buy? Buy. Oh, what a price. Buy at Applebee's. New Frank grilled burgers. New Frank grilled burgers.
Don't miss this initial public offering. You belong at Applebee's.
It's a film where a girl appears to be murdered.
She had no name.
I need information. I thought you might be able to help.
Until he uncovered the truth.
The film is real.
Now,
I understand.
how far will he go?
You dance with the devil don't change. The devil changes you.
In the name of justice.
There's no one left to finish this but me.
Academy Award winner Nicolas Cage.
No!
8mm, rated R. Opens everywhere Friday.
You know, we've been together for a while, and I've been thinking. I don't know, I'm missing something from our relationship. I think it's just best if we make a clean break.
Expect more from your credit card. Introducing Discover Platinum. With a new low rate and a cashback bonus award, it pays to discover. Platinum. Call 1-800-DISCOVER.
Check, please. Oh, you'll get this right.
So I'm just flipping around the television, all of a sudden I come across this Animal Planet channel. You don't plan on watching it, you're just flipping around and boom! You're watching this crazy little Australian guy named Steve Irwin. This is a king cobra. It's not... Steve Irwin is a trained professional, much like a hairdresser, only he works with crocs. Come on, as I stick my head in a crocodile's mouth. This is his job. This is what he does for a living.
Catch the real Crocodile Hunter, Mondays at 9, only on Animal Planet. To get Animal Planet, call your cable or satellite company and ask for it.
New garage doors can make quite a difference in the appearance of your home. And just to prove it, let's take a look at what used to be here and what's here now. To keep your garage doors looking good, you need to maintain them. Now, these newer metal style doors don't require a whole lot of exterior maintenance. However, a garage door has a lot of moving parts, and those do need to be taken care of. Check the rollers on your door tracks. If they're metal and they don't move well, lubricate them with silicone spray. Check the hinges and make sure that they're well secured. Same goes for the cables. If you notice any indication of fraying, it may be time to replace them. Also, keep an eye on spring tension. You want that tight. And check your opener's chains or belts. You want those to be tight too. And finally, the infrared beam sensors. These can get knocked out of alignment, and that would keep your door from operating properly. And something else that might keep your door from opening and closing: a dead battery in the transmitter. You'll have to replace this every so often. That's it for care and maintenance of your new garage door and opener. A project like this should take you about a day, but if you are a sissy liftin', bad wrenching tool doof, you just might need a garage door installation buddy. I know I did. I'm Joanne Liebeler. We'll see you next time.